actually followed through with a lot of these final circle positionings that we actually currently see right here. This was definitely one of my favorite ones to watch. I was doing a watch party, taking a look at where Moist positioning was. It was TSM that was on the low ground originally, trying to see what they could do with the cat wall and move forward, and it was Moist. Haley from above, their only weak position was when they were forced to drop down, and even then, everything was in their favor. MT cleaning up what was left of that final squad, and you could see the progress that they made. Guild with 15 KP, MT and Walty tying for 10th. But it's also nice to highlight, I remember that former squad of MT Walty back when they were the Burger Brigade, all the way now coming into North America. It's great to welcome them into North America as a region and to see how well they perform for today.
Team Burger. They would make me hungry every time we had to talk about them. Dia, though, I know it seemed hungry, not just to eat here. I'm not even sure what their diets are heading into this match day, but I will say they're hungry for recognition. They're hungry for notoriety in the way that, hey, we are a top team. That, of course, is E8.
On that, very much we can agree. E8, I think in different ways than a lot of squads, have things to prove, but it's less about saying, oh, well, we have really good players. People know they have good players. The question is whether they can manage them. With Zach at the helm, the former IGL of C9, the EA squad has actually been around for a while, but they originally, and this may come as a shock, did not have a place in Pro League. They had to play through the preseason qualifiers with Zap and Shubi, and Zap even a pretty recent entrant into the scene, originally being scouted by Meat Lovers and then picked up by Zach for his, I'll say, hand-selected roster of E8. They are second to many, at least off of our first day. Third, in fact, in terms of kills, and fourth in terms of damage off of match day 1. This team flew under a lot of people's radars, and I expect that they won't be silent for too much longer.
I don't think so at all, and just to prove you correct, let's go ahead and listen to what Zach had to say about them.
What's up, guys? I'm Zach. My teammates are Shubi and Zapdo, and our coach is Talmage, and we are Elevate Gaming. Coming from Countdown and Checkpoint, you know, we got the POIs for free, so we're not contested. We got to some really strong early game positions. And, you know, I had the flu and I was having internet issues the entire day. People were talking about me DCing every game, trying to reconnect. And we ended up pulling through. The boys carried me. Those strong power positions and Dark Zero slamming everybody on edge really gave us a big advantage to get that third place on match day 1. I mean, in my opinion, it feels great to be an underdog. I think it relieves a lot of the pressure. You know, when people expect you to perform and the pressure's on, you know, that can get to anyone. It doesn't matter if you're Hal or Joe Schmo coming out of the PLQ, you know. The pressure definitely exists. So I appreciate being the underdog. And yes, coming out of the PLQ, I'm proud that we earned our Pro League spot.
Perhaps not having the pressure has given us a few less Mazer moments, but I want the pressure to start amping up a little bit, Rain, because I do like, as much as when Zach succeeds, when Zach does something a little silly.
I mean, I'm just happy that the phrase Joe Schmo is still, you know, working itself around the world here, you know, with so many new phrases coming up every now and then. I'm glad to be back in my wheelhouse there. This time Elevates, they're the Joe Schmoes from the PLQ, but I don't think they're Joe Schmoes anymore in terms of our expectations for them in this lobby. Absolutely had a great start in day 1. Let's see if they can continue here in their not only match day 3, but their second day of games. A team that doesn't even need a second day of games to be almost at the top of this entire North American split is none other than Dark Zero, who have showcased not just the only other team besides TSM's capability to win a LAN, but to do it multiple times and now to take on multiple members and do it. Remember, Jen Burton didn't win the first LAN in Sweden. And when Jen Burton was back, that means it was a different squad to win that first championship. Then you have these opportunities, the split, but when you have these opportunities for now Sykes to come in and make a statement for himself that I think he wasn't able to make on XSET. He was phenomenal there. They had a great run, but there was something about that team, the way they were put together, that was dangerous but not deadly enough to take the win and really go past the Alliance, the XSETs, the even NRGs, the Optics at that time, and win. Dark Zero now have proven that with their core, they're able to do it with Jen Burton and Zero. And Sykes might have just pushed them to that next level of being able to compete with TSM when it gets down to it. I'm sure a lot of other teams will show up as a part of our radar, but you got to say they are looking extremely good overall. This is a cool little graph just showcasing the amount of damage that they've done in the white together. You can put that together kind of roughly. We're in 27,000 damage, whatever it is. But when you compare that to kind of the damage differential that they are leading nearly this entire group with, I'm not sure we'll be able to bring that up right now, but you can see they've got a little over 5,000 damage. So doing 27,000 damage, they've still taken about 21, but they've done so much more. You can tell they're in the middle of fights. They're comfortable taking damage. They're just that much more confident that they'll be able to dish it out more, even if you have a few armor swaps or a couple reses in your back pocket. Man, Dark Zero, what a team, what a game, what a day we have. All of those stories yet to unfold, and it all starts with the first game. It is the end of the beginning. Let's see who jumps out to the races officially after 6 are played. But for now, let's send it over to your casters to kick off game number 1 here in North America of our 3rd day of our Year 4 split. Vicky and Dia.
Thank you so much, Rain Day. I'm here, guys, with Dia, and I'm so excited to take you all through the action. Taking a look at that graph, Dia, another team that really did pop up to me, you know, we highlighted DZ for all the right reasons, but Furia, Dia de Furia, will it happen again? This is a team that is always playing incredibly aggressive, has no issue playing for seconds, but will they become more well-rounded when they know that they have the 3-man power to take control over these fights?
There are a lot of really cool stories happening with Furia as well. As much as Madness has wanted to be at the top of his game as an IGL for a while, he's been on this sort of slow uphill grind over the past couple of years, and now Furia could be the perfect time for that to peak, combining not just his IGL prowess, but also Keon, who had just left Sentinels at the end of last year, perhaps not being a stylistic fit, and now finding himself in a better position with Madness, who they seem to have a lot of, we'll say, similar reads on the game. Then you've got Watson coming in, Watson who revolutionized the meta back in 2022 champs. You put all those 3 pieces together and you have got 3 very diverse and yet somehow coalescing stories that have come together to create a monstrous team.
It's so many things to look at. I can't wait. And while we get started, guys, game number 1, we are moving on to Storm Point for these first 3 games before we make the transition into World's Edge for our final 3 games. Teams like Furia that we highlighted actually had a much better time yesterday on Storm Point, getting 3rd back-to-back versus what their performance was on World's Edge. And then you take a look at teams like LG, a much more well-rounded team. They'll be able to benefit off of both of these maps. So it comes down to where these team strengths lay, and in this first map, we get to really tear apart the teams that may be lacking a lot more when it comes to Storm Point.
Now, just yesterday, we had DNO starting things off strong in some interesting northern zones because we went over to Wall and also to the Black Island just underneath it. This time on Storm Point, Echo HQ was a big focus in our EMEA rounds, and Echo HQ, interestingly enough, will be a focus once again, but for very different reasons. This time with a contest between Moist and Legacy making its return there. That'll be where we're focusing, especially in our early game, because the POI and those teams can make such a big impact on the game.
I believe Waltzy actually tweeted it out at the end of the day where he was very happy that they had finished in 2nd place, and that's with getting landed on and their loot being basically taken away from them there. So finding your footing on World's Edge after getting landed on by Legacy over by Pulso/Echo is definitely going to be something I have my eyes on, especially because Legacy themselves were running into some technical difficulties with Nizul's PC. So going into a new day today, hopefully both teams here could iron out whatever they didn't like on Storm Point going into this first game.
I know that we're talking about Legacy, but you've just reminded me of Elevate as well. That's the other buff that they have coming into today, is a lack, hopefully, fingers crossed, of technical issues, because last time they were abundant specifically for E8. Hopefully that's been sorted out on their side, and we get the opportunity to see them play perhaps a more full day, especially when they already had such a good one in our first map round. Just as the dropship finishes flying through, we should have everybody touching down soon, as we start closing the gap on Echo HQ, both squads landing in the dead center.
Oh, wasting no time. Guild's already got that Spitfire and the G7 ready to unleash. getting a crack over on the other side thanks to Waltzy. Tries to go for the follow-up. Waltzy gonna be able to navigate away while Gil gives him suppressed fire. But he is unstoppable. He's holding such a nice little head glitch here too. He's forcing them to go to him. He's got 2 knocked, and it looks like Legacy are your first team to go out for our first game. Moist take the 50-50 with the dub.
It can't be Guild not only clutching it, but getting all 3 kills. This plays out just like their contest yesterday, with the first game going to Moist, and in quick order as well. With Echo HQ having also a ring console and a crafter, you could not ask for a better start out of Moist. And with a zone coming to them as well, this is looking like, well, the lobby's about to get a little soaked.
Oh no. Hashtag Moist. They are looking to stay here, and oh man, I don't know, Dia, if it's us that is cursed, but this is, okay, so when we were over in EMEA covering the action, Echo HQ had 2 circles pull in that direction. It looks like now for our first game, open up the doors because we are moving right over to Echo once again for this next circle. Now, it could be pulling a little bit more north. We've seen that happen before, but I'm thinking about that ring console that's also right there by Echo.
Because we've got the chance to take a look at Dark Zero, it does appear that their bets are that this is going really far south into Echo as well. I'm hesitant, mostly because you know the fallacy where you see something time and time again and you go, okay, well, it's going to be that again. Part of me just thinks we might go up towards Pylon, but that might just be the copium.
I could, we're going to have to see. I think it is copium, but it would be crazy if it just took a very hard turn and pulled in that direction. We're going to have to see with more teams making their way over to Echo. Currently, see already a fight happening on your screen. Sentinels right through the smokes. Arcane backing away here, but I like the different adjustments that Sentinels have been really trying to approach. They're willing to try a bunch of different things as long as it works out for them, but it looks like Moist can't catch a break. Dark Zero, knowing that this 50-50 was gonna happen, took a trident and immediately rotated into Echo, but that's also the fact that it's a double whammy. They know who lands here, but they also want to get ahead of the other squads that are in the middle of their rotation.
On paper, this is a really late fight to take. There's plenty of opportunity for third parties, and I do like that Dark Zero are playing it conservatively after applying a little bit of pressure to Moist. They themselves, however, do get rolled up on from behind, and Eternal, who land over in Devastated Coast, have easy access to harassing Dark Zero. Both teams now forced to play on the outside, leaving Moist again large and in charge in the central building of Echo.
Getting flashbacks when you were able to access the rooftop over here by Echo from that zip line. With some adjustments, though, some of these teams have been able to take advantage of being inside of that building. I also want to highlight, we see these shots getting taken with the triple take from Phony. He's about to try to maybe put up the wall in this rotation, but the pick rates on the top of your screen. I just want to talk about the fact that Bangalore has a 100% pick rate right now in this lobby, while we see 2 Lobas, 10 Conduits, and 15 Catalysts. The walls have come up. X marks a spot. Nocturnal now moving away, Alfred to the other side, trying to stay out of the line of sight of the team right in front of them, but they're looking to back away. Nice shot from what looked like a 30-30 coming in from Complexity.
This is something that Hodzik has actually praised Nocturnal for, being able to, on Bangalore, be really aggressive, get up in other teams' faces, cause a problem for them, and he does just that with the smokes initially, but Xset have expended a big ult cooldown to get a meager rock to play behind. It is not a good position for them at all, and if anyone rolls up behind Xset, they are gone.
What's crazy is that out of the 19 squads in this lobby, only 6 of them are not in this circle initially in this Echo HQ location. It is insane how congested already that next pool has been, with over the rest of the lobby waiting here on each different side of Echo. Complexity not slowing down anytime soon, though. The Conduit ult slowing them down, taking the tick of damage that left Kimchi 1. They're looking for the reset, and they are able to get that catalyst up.
And that's after taking a knock onto Koifel as well. So Complexity have a numbers advantage. Now that even Monsoon's been able to pop the shield bat, it turns into so much more of an effective hit point differential. Monsoon can go ahead and go on a flank, but these stairs are really awkward, and Xset still stay on top, hitting for triple. They've got Koifel back up. Xset have equalized things. In fact, taken a big advantage now over Complexity, turning the tables by using the high ground, the access to the stairs in their favor instead.
And it's even better for Exit to wait on this high ground while Complexity know that there's another team shooting at them and pressuring them from right behind. Exit's actually pinging that same location by the bunker doors if they want to try to counter-rotate already, try to get out of this situation, with other teams looking to rotate from the east side of the circle, exiting out of Launchpad and Devastated Coast.
Complexity aren't giving up on this, though. They almost take down Koi, and Xset have to turn their entire focus back to this stairway. An Roatpkz was popped, giving Fun the ability to lay down the energy barricade once again, but Xset are hesitant to use it. They don't want to have pulled off an Roatpkz simply to get the ult forced out defensively again. Complexity continue to pressure. They're now being looked at from above, and Xset are hemorrhaging resources just to stay alive on this platform.
While Furia are suffering right now, Madness is outside the circle because he can't cross yet. He's getting pressured out. They had used the wall, what looked like earlier, to try to at least close in that gap. Hopefully Madness is going to be able to reset and make his way over, but the wall has gone down, so he needs some suppressed fire from his Watson.
You know what else is
Exit
going
eliminated.
Down? Yep. Xset are gone. That place, not exactly what they were hoping to play in the long term. Dark Zero are being unseated at the very top, be it Arc Star spam, be it Cat spam. Furia want to make their way over, and the way has been cleared for Zero to walk on, join the team. Dark Zero do still hold the high ground, but whether they'll be able to actually keep Furia at bay is an entirely other question. I don't suspect that Furia are going to give them a lot of space to work with.
Dark Zero at least being here on the high ground. It's about the teams with the 30-30s over to the right side. I know Optic is coming in from the south side of the circle too, with 4 other teams matching that from the west side of Echo. Currently see Dark Zero dropping down. They had the opportunity. They were able to get that brick, and they're fine with just giving up that space. They'll fight their way right back into the high ground. That is Furia eliminated in 18th.
You don't get to be neighbors with Dark Zero, but you know what Dark Zero get out of this is a large amount of sustain. They were running low on things like bats and importantly cells as we got later into the rings, and now that they've got the full kills on the members of Furia, they get to inherit all of that leftover loot. They start making their push up, trying to find a little bit of purchase, moving over, not even in Echo HQ yet, just fighting on the line up to Devastated Coast.
FaZe finding Temper, I believe, on the other side, and it's the fight for that ring console that is right by Devastated Coast on the north side. Meat Lovers waiting in the distance. FaZe getting bombarded by some nades, are looking to take this fight. Panders already entry fragging with the R301 over to the other side. Thank goodness that R301 is back on the ground. Love seeing that weapon out into play here too, without having to rely on that replicator. And Temper doesn't like being on the low ground here. They're actually trying to counter rotate, getting right back onto the high ground, right next to FaZe by Devastated Coast, but they can leave their backs open by Meat that are coming in from the bridge.
That is not where the meat goes on the sandwich. It should not be on the outside, and I get the feeling the Meat Lovers are about to rectify that. Cat reinforced doors are not going to be long for this world, especially with ults being thrown on top of them. Oversleepers go down. Big nade crack on the inside for Tech. And now with the Bloodhound ultimate, you've got just a couple seconds left on this massive information as Temper very quickly make their exit. And a wise one at that, Vicky. Being caught between these two teams was going to be a death sentence for Temper, and I'd rather take my chances on the low ground.
I saw one smoke nade, and then I blinked, and Temper was out of there. They sped, ran their way into that low ground. They wanted no business after realizing that they were pinched between two teams. Smart decision here. While they did drop down, they have to look at the teams that are still playing on the edge like PLP. Looking at them here, as you can see on your maps, this is pulling 100% towards Echo HQ. Look how many teams are still sharing some of that infrastructure of Echo over to the left side. Ape Gang, 9 Lives, trying to gatekeep teams like Elevate and Disguised, who are still in Barometer.
And can we just compare this briefly in our minds to what we saw in EMEA this morning? In EMEA, there are still 4 or 5 squads trying to rotate through Pylon at this point, waiting for the next ring to close. In North America, everyone has a spot in Echo HQ. Doesn't have to be a good one, but everyone's sat somewhere, coexisting with way too little room to breathe. Even 9 Lives who have been forced out onto the gravity cannon still don't have to fight Elevate until 2 rings from now.
It's crazy here how how many of these teams have been able to coexist, and they're still doing some poke damage from afar. You can hear those 30-30 shots ringing through the air, while FaZe have also slightly backed up, still sticking to the high ground here. They're looking at the team that have made their way across the bridge. Who will initiate first? Because you still see Temper hanging out on the low ground. If they see any knocks happening, they could easily try to counter-rotate and then sandwich meat if they decide to take that fight. But it looks like they're already in the middle of rotating. PLP is providing some extra pressure, preventing them from getting a clean rotate. Temper could still find themselves sandwiched, though, once the circle starts closing in the next 40 seconds.
And this is going to be a very late rotate for both teams because neither one wants to open their backs to the other. With FaZe not, of course, wanting to give that up to meat lovers who will run at you, and the same being said on the other side. It means that both teams will have to fight not just each other, but now Temper, who has taken the rotation, as we just mentioned, ahead of them, and that's still not including the one squad, Elevate, that could come from Pylon and take a northern rotation in as well. We're introducing a lot of teams into this potential northern rotate because this next zone is the one that's going to take a lot of squads out. You can no longer tank ring in zone 3. It is going to have to be move into zone, find a place to stay, or die outside of it.
Oh, Panders, he got beamed while trying to take that evac, trying to find some sort of safety, landing on the ground to all those 30-30s, and it don't stop. With line of sight on the bridge, Meat is putting in some extra pressure. You've already used the cat wall, but where do you even go? Hiding around the other side of the wall, you're getting bombarded by nades. He is playing a scene out of the Matrix. If it isn't the nades, hell, it's the bang ult that you have to avoid, and now they're forced out of their position.
Not a lot of cover on these boxes. We've seen them be pretty easily pushed just a couple hours ago. Nice focus fire from FaZe does at least remove the threat of the conduit from in front of them, but from behind them, meat lovers will be cresting that hill. FaZe need a better place to play, and they need it now. Committing down onto the low ground. Zero makes the first move, but he goes down before he even touches the rock.
That is crazy how fast he got deleted almost immediately right there. Zero from a distance with that 30-30. The Havoc also coming in from Complexity, really helping them out, taking a look at where that team may be sitting in behind that rock, but it's the extra pressure from this northeast side that Complexity has been holding ever since that beginning fight with Xset.
Do appreciate the Complexity have managed to orchestrate a hold of the low ground. Not everything is looking in order for them, however. You'll notice that, at least for Louis, there are no big heals right now. It's all coming down to 6 shield cells, I believe 4 syringes left. Complexity, as a 3-person group, cannot have a whole lot more than that. And while they're blessed by the fact that not a lot of people have actually been fighting them for this spot, eventually, Complexity are going to get pushed.
Worry down here for Snipe Down and Panders. Look at this positioning. Right before Meat Lovers is going to have to move forward, like you mentioned, but they will still be in the line of sight of PLP, Dark Zero. Optic is behind Dark Zero right now, too, and Moist is still holding it down inside of Echo HQ, but it's all the chaos. A Snipe Down is incredibly low. Panders gives him some suppressed fire, while Tech on the high ground coming in. Just finished getting himself a new Tesla, by the way, so he is feeling confident with the rest of his squad. But where are they going to be moving on to next? This is going to be a difficult rotation with little to no cover.
Evac tower, not a bad idea, but far from a sure move. As ultimately after this evac, the meat lovers will still have to find a place that does not exist realistically for them inside of Echo. DSG make their move as E8 crawl up behind them, now owning the gravity cannon. E8 also not yet in zone, and Zap barely makes it down to this fence line without getting beamed.
At least he's got the wingman in hand, ready to get some revenge. Looking right through the smokes, though. Elevate with this rotation out of the gravity cannon. They have to make sure nobody else comes right behind them. I know Ape Gang is still playing slightly outside the circle. I believe they're one of the squads running the Loba, so trying to play for that late game. Disguise, though, hiding inside of a corner, about to get pinched by E8 on the other side. It is Complexity hearing the fighting. They're looking to get into a corner for this next circle, and it's only Timmy who's alive with the Volt in hand. He's got a gold mag. They're looking to rush him, playing right behind the knockdown, but it's just way too much. He gets taken down. It is Elevate, and right on the other side, you see Complexity Monsoon with the Sentinel putting in the work.
Okay, Zach, okay. It was impressive, but it was momentary. It was fleeting for E8 as they, as well as DSG, who both rotated in late, could not ultimately find a space to play. And they are not the only ones. A lot of teams expired on their way in. The one squad I haven't seen show up in the kill feed is Meat, that took the late evac tower and have not been punished for it. Complexity spot a rampart on the low ground, which is going to be an interesting puzzle to solve, as they will ultimately have to play this side of Echo HQ. Let's hear how they do it.
Back up. Go to the spot, please. They're on the egg glitch here. 95 on 1.
I gotta back up.
Okay, we gotta watch our back though.
Cubby, so we're really good here in the cubby.
Yeah, it's in.
Okay, careful of northeast right now. Full heal. I have Bangle. Here, take this ult.
I'll be on Victor right now.
We maybe would have just rat here.
Yeah,
I don't know how good it'll be though. You just have to smoke us up here. How many digits you guys have?
I have one. I have one.
I have one.
Play left side. Play
Okay, we all have digi then. You just smoke us right here and we shit on them.
Yeah, that Bangle team, they're rising over there on the north, okay? Just careful right now. Careful right now.
We're gonna push this.
Don't take damage, okay?
You're right. They're pushing us though, I think. On the left.
I know. I'm gonna look.
Any cells?
Yeah,
I have
inside
one.
that corner. I'm gonna drop 2.
I have 2, that's it. I'm getting your optics out.
This is kind of bad. They smoked us.
We have to take this missile.
And 195 on the northwest. Close, boys.
Nice, I have wall in a second. We just lived to a wall.
Through your smoke.
Shoot it down.
I can't see that ult.
I got wall.
I have wall.
Good wall. Play on top of pills.
I put ult down too.
They're gonna 8 plus. They're gonna 8 plus.
I'm looking. We don't have to overswing for this.
Right now.
Oh, they're above.
Land it on me.
Dead.
You win this. Stay my neck. You win this one.
2. Well, literally 1. Give me shield. Fuck, boys.
I didn't really be.
No way. Just like that, a falling bloodhound right on top of their heads, Dia. You may miss it, but the Bluth was not in their favor here. Losing out in that corner, it was tricky. You heard how chaotic those comms were. And Meat Lovers getting involved in the corner, finding themselves right back to the lobby. Eternal is still alive as they're able to get the reset now to Void.
It's happening to Eternal too. That's the problem with dropping on a team. Somebody else is going to drop on you. The low ground is tough to play for a reason, and a lot of teams are taking the bait, playing it instead. Some of them, however, have no choice. Optic, one of those squads that actually plays in the middle of the playable space right now, still technically on low ground, but having height critically on some unfortunate teams below them. One such team, Dark Zero, who now has to face off against Optic, who have the height advantage.
And this is Optic who made that rotation from Down Beast right behind Dark Zero, playing right behind them here too. Moist have not moved from this spot, but they've also denied themselves looting opportunities since this is where they land. Look at what they're working with here. Waltzy, although 47 on the 30-30 should be fine. The Volt is looking lackluster in terms of energy ammo. Now, right in front of them, though, they do see Optic Gaming, and Optic cannot give up this high ground with Moist being right across from them.
And it is just 4 squads left right next door to Moist. Sentinels have set themselves up with a Watson. It's keeping Moist from pushing out and getting involved, helping to shut down Dark Zero on the low ground, but also probably the only thing keeping Optic alive.
What's crazy too is that FaZe is still alive. I believe as a rat, with Sentinels also playing right below Moist. Dark Zero on the edge by the fence line. Optic Gaming looking to rotate. Dark Zero here, some fighting. You can see the pings. Will they be able to initiate too with the conduit ult that they've laid down? Look at where Snipe Down is, right next to Dark Zero. They don't see him just yet. He's playing from inside of the piercing spikes.
We slowly chewed through, and Dropped is the one to claim that kill. Another point goes to Optic. Dark Zero emerge in the midst of a smoke, cut off by a catwall now, turning around to fight Sentinels, but ultimately having to dip back out of the ring. Moist, with no problem whatsoever, have a firing range to work with. It is like loading into the practice tool. Moist, clean house, taking out Optic and waiting for the wall to drop, as it should in the next 5 seconds.
They can't get any loot from this. Bangalore ult stopping them, creating that space, but with only one left, Moist, the patience is over. We highlighted them for a reason. Take game number 1 with the ring favoring them all the way to their POI.
That's great timing from Moist. They don't have to worry about pushing through a catalyst wall because they saw when it went down and are fully aware that there's not enough time for any team on the other side to reset. Instead, they play with this ultimate high ground that's available to you in Echo HQ, and we start to understand outside of just its loot why it's such a powerful POI. Because unlike Lightning Rod, where when the zone pulls to you, you kind of have to pick a building and work with it, in Echo HQ, you just stay where you landed, and it's also Godspot.
Not only that, you also have the chance of either getting a replicator sometimes. You saw the ring beacon also being right to the north of Echo. Yes, sometimes you also get it in Devastated Coast, but we saw what was happening over there where we had a three-way fight for the teams that were also rotating by launch pad. So that was a really good spot for Moist to be, and that's why they were fighting for that POI against Legacy. But we have to see where that next circle is going to be pulling, because once again, Moist really woke up on World's Edge, and if this is how they're starting their day, I'm expecting that momentum to keep rolling.
And on the opposite end of this, can we just take a moment and think about how Legacy must be feeling after having lost that contest and looking back at it? In fact, let's look back at it one more time, because the way this game played out, it could have been Legacy at the top, but with the way that Gildersons clutched up the early game, we said this contest was going to change the game. I didn't know it would be by this much.
Look at the little head glitch that he's holding to over to the other side. Like, there's nothing you could do about him holding that positioning if you decide to take a fight if you're Legacy in that position, unless you actually close in the gap while knowing you'll probably get shot anyways from the back. So that was a beautiful position for them to hold. But we get to take a look at more highlights. The early fight between Complexity and an X set, as well as FaZe getting stuck, but FaZe somehow living as a solo till top 4 at the very end. This is where we had to say goodbye to X set in the lobby, being our third, or rather our second team to go out here. But with Exit trying to hold on for dear life, they're out in the open between so many other teams that had them on their sides. We saw Furia go down shortly afterwards, with Dark Zero also making a very quick rotate on a Trident. They were the second team to run into Moist. But with so many other squads not wasting any time yet to get into this final circle, that's why it was so chaotic by the 5th side.
And it's very difficult to rotate in from the north. And I know it's I know it's hard because when you look at Echo HQ, it does appear to be all the way south of the map, but ultimately, rotating in even from the eastern side is better than rotating in from the north, because it claims so many teams, this little dip before the actual POI itself, that has so many squads funnel into it, like Xset, like the Meat Lovers almost did, and of course, like E8 did moments later, sliding down into the little village outside of Echo HQ. It's really tough to escape a low ground position here, and as much as teams tried their best, ultimately it was what claimed Dark Zero as well. Their drop down took them straight into Optic, and ultimately both teams had to walk straight into Moist.
And the fact that Moist was also able to clean up that one squad that was right in front of them in the middle of that rotate before the bang ult was called in is great. That's 3 extra KP on top of the dub. I believe they finished with that last KP with 10 kills in total for that squad. So a nice way to start off your day here after game number 1.
I'd agree. And this is, as you say, game 1, so there's still going to be plenty of variation. You would imagine that this doesn't play out like EMEA and we don't go to Echo HQ twice, but even if it were to, the likelihood that we get very different top 3s is very high, because Apex Legends is inherently going to have a little bit of variance in between games, so I can't wait to see what teams come out on top next.
Yeah, while we calculate all the standings here, guys, cannot wait to take you guys through game number 2. We are continuing on the domination onto Storm Point, and that will come to you on the other side of this break.
LGS. It's day 3 in our split, and it's time to get into the action for game 2. Rain Day, and now joined with Dia on the mics. What a great game. Number 1, Dia, we had a pop-off from Moist. We called it, but it's always just a guess until it really happens.
Yeah, like I said, when I thought that the contest was going to impact the game, I didn't think it would be to the tune of 5,000 damage and 10 kills for Moist. Added on top of their placement, this means so much for them because starting off with a 22-point game is going to put them far and away ahead of the leaderboard.
Well, this one goes out to Genome. I just hope he's watching North America's finest duel it out here. You know, Moist Esports and Dark Zero. I mean, really just homegrown squads. Obviously, jokes here around APAC South taking over. I mean, you know, and yes, they're playing here now, but you gotta say, these two teams from that region now representing and playing in North America, it is phenomenal what they've been able to do. They've turned it around and become favorites in every sense of the word. Sentinels, a really good performance. They're way down in the rankings so far. Optic and FaZe falling out our top 5, but it's really just the story of our top 2 right now. And I will add a second storyline here. Complexity, 10 points off of 8 kills. You cast that as well. I mean, they were stuck in some tricky situations with FaZe and with Meat, but they had a lot going on in that game.
I can honestly say that I've never seen a team work the low ground like Complexity did. There's got to be some serious scrim time put into mastering that specific ending and the way that they were able to play it to such effective KP. 9 Lives, of course, did come out with a remarkable amount of kills as well, and they're one of my teams to watch simply because they are also, like E8, a preseason qual team, but one that was somehow even less on people's radar until they started coming into preseason qualifiers and slaying teams.
It is hard to get on the radar, especially in a region like North America with so many big names and so accomplished. But that's what these games are all about. The end of the beginning, well, we've got one game to start it off, and it's kind of what we anticipated. Moist up and away. Dark Zero chasing them with Sentinels right behind. Complexity with a nice shot into the dark, and that light is burned bright. We'll see if it continues in game 2 on Storm Point as we jump off the drop ship and the teams land. Speaking of landing, Dia, we saw some early contest. It was between Made in Heaven and Aftermath and EMEA that kind of were their own little, I don't know, Batman and Robin, except you know, they're not working together, but they were a part of the same storyline. The constant contest. Do we see that here with Legacy? And potentially now Moist, who loses Waltzy. That is a huge start to this match.
It's a big turnaround for Legacy. And they got to be hoping that the ring pulls over to Echo HQ again after having effectively won. Yes, they may not get a squad wipe with Moist getting to escape into the ether, but Moist are escaping into POIs that are claimed. Not just shots from behind them out of Legacy, but Eternal lying wait for them at Devastated Coast, PLP at Launchpad, Evolution landing at Pylon. There seems to be no escape from the never-ending fire that's being thrown at Moist.
They should go here, I would imagine, and if you're looking at the map as we are, they are going to be near a way to recover their teammate, and I think that is one of the benefits of Conduit, being able to get those banners, so they should be able to have a chance to get back as a full 3 and have Waltzy, but it's going to take a minute for sure, and not all is guaranteed as well. As we take a look at the overall situation, after such a devastatingly good start, it was a devastatingly poor one for Moist, and you know, it looks to be another southern zone. It could even pull very close to Echo as we had seen in game 1, Dia. So pretty similar start here in Storm Point, at least in terms of map.
I'll be honest, I wasn't going to say anything. I was just going to let it happen and see if we went Echo, but with Evolution rotating in, it seems that a lot of teams are once again placing their bets that we're playing out a nearly identical zone. PLP are getting in position. Oversleepers have already started to rotate in, but miraculously, with Moist being able to survive, they should be essentially watching the kill feed to see when Legacy goes out, because as long as you're able to stay above Legacy in the standings, Moist can call this a win on the contest, where they've already done quite well for themselves in the first game.
Next set flying in as well. We find ourselves towards conversation with Yanya, Jaguarez, and Niazul. LG, that's kind of the three players we were so consistently seeing representing and hailing from Mexico, and now no longer represented with LG. That's now Sweets, who's been off of NRG and put together his squad, the Funk and Slayer, to be the top of North America. But what does that leave Legacy? It leaves them, in my eyes, with something to prove. It's a team that has always been so good. Team fighting has been their strength. Not necessarily winning big events, but certainly being threatening within the top 5. And whenever in a situation where they're playing edge or coming across a moment where you need a big game from them, certainly a team that, unlike all teams, they can drop a 20 kill game pretty regularly and get enough to just maybe shift their standings in an overall 6-game matchup.
And I dare say, Randy, that I expect them to, especially in matches like this. Now, when you're a team that drops over an Echo, like we said with Moist, it's your job to be able to read that zone better than anyone else. And it's very curious to me that Legacy have chosen not to stay in Echo and instead move out to Devastated Coast. I think they're hedging their bets, saying, this isn't actually going Echo, it's going to pull up further north, and we are going to be on the eastern side of the ring where nobody else is.
That's an interesting thing. I mean, if it is possible to take a look at that just for the map for clarity, because that's kind of a big decision. You're talking about teams going, is it going to end up exactly as it was last game, or are we going to go just a little bit to our east? And that means an entirely different rotation if you're trying to run kind of western side and south, because that means you're right there. You're fine. You're not going to have anyone behind you. But if it goes farther east, you are going to have to push through every team that's in front of you, versus having no one at your back, versus now having to go through 6 different teams. It is a very big gamble that these squads are making. FaZe, one of those squads that usually okay with fighting as well, but are in that south side, looking to get some poke with the Havoc from range is very tricky, and content with that so far.
Maximizing the use of the Conduit as well, keeping Panders topped up. One of the benefits, of course, with Conduit is that if you are aware that you're not going to get into a fight, you can use the Conduit Tactical just to maintain your shields while you evo them, giving yourself an even better chance of having greater armors while also not expending resources in order to keep yourself in the poke battle.
That's a great point, too, just about the fact that a lot of these games, unlike games that you might be playing yourself at home, have to do with teams there committing to an area very early. And now how are we going to level up our evos? We've got to get involved. We have to poke. That's why you'll often see at least something like a 30-30, maybe a Nemesis, some type of medium to long range available. A Scout, great example as well, to be able to do damage here, but also have an impact, because you do have to trade off between, are we going to get involved in this fight? Are we going to third party? Or are we going to play the zone? If you have a Scout, a lot of times you call, hey, fight happening left, let's get some KP off of that, and you can get 1 or 2 pieces while you're still holding onto a zone that might win you the game. And that's exactly what PLP are trying to do. RKN playing a little bit of hide and seek by himself there. Optic knows where he is, and they don't like it. They're trying to get him off his back as well, but no one going too aggressively too far here. Let's take a look at the map.
Oh my lord, and Legacy, even at their POI, gamble wrong. Moving out to Devastated Coast when now the zone pulls us back into Echo. This is, I will say, highly unusual. It's 4 zones in 1 day across 2 regions.
Wow.
But a move like this is still going to change things for Legacy, and not for the better.
I mean, look at this, too. I mean, you see all those teams to the right. We were kind of talking about the problem. For that team far left, if you consider, I think it might have been Sentinels, where let's talk about 9 Lives, a squad that is there. They're okay. They can sit. They can wait. Had that pulled towards Coast, it is a heck of a fight between Evolution, Optic, Sentinels, PLP, XSET, just to get in. So, right now, all is well in terms of the call. A lot more to do, Dia, in terms of that, though. You still got to play. And kind of an unusual 20 teams still alive in this lobby. Not one squad has fallen here so far.
And check out Dark Zero, who are going to be playing right along that edge in the zone.
Wow.
Could be our first squad to go down, especially as they get noticed and have to go all the way back on this rotation. But they've taken almost exactly the same move as they did last game, much like Sentinels, who have repeated their performance. Dark Zero, however, hemorrhaging meds outside of the ring, and ultimately will have to fight for the priority over Gravity Cannon, where we already know Elevate likes to go late.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting rotation with Dark Zero. I like following this along. You're right, because they have to use the meds here early. They've got 19 seconds before the zone starts to push in. So it's going to be interesting. They'll run into kind of the edge of where teams are holding off Echo, but they're not going to push. So as long as they can kind of stabilize and fight off of Elevate Gaming, which will run into Dark Zero now, they'll be okay. But that's a big if, because those two teams are playing very, very well, and they're beginning their fight as Complexity still sit inside this building.
Bit of a different read from Complexity as well. We haven't touched on it. The way that they played the low ground was something that we discussed at the end of last round, and it was an early prediction from them as well. Having them also be a team, as Complexity, that have elected to play a little further north, a little outside of last game's zone, they'll also be in a bit of a tough position towards the next couple of rings. Double cat walls have been used by Dark Zero and E8 respectively in order to give each other space for the fight, but neither one really fully wants to commit to this engagement, especially not without an initial knock. Dark Zero get rounded on over this head peek at the hill, and now we're right in the line of sight of E8. It's Temper and E8 both firing at Dark Zero, your winners of day one, and perhaps about to be shut down.
And that is just unlucky from Dark Zero. They had a chance to push Elevate. They had a ton of damage, and they just didn't go for it. I think they were worried about what just happened with Temper pushing in, but in the same way, because they were worried about it, it almost sealed their fate. They will lose all but Zero, who is still alive. And Elevate, Zap and Zach doing their scouts honor duty to try to make sure that they can make a claim. And he is gone, and he is not coming back. Zero, is that a quick potential res there, or just
That's
a craft of some
it.
meds? Wow, that would be amazing if they can do it. And it is kind of a new world where you drop down and you can fight right away, but Elevate, they're still stuck on it. They do not want any chance of Dark Zero playing behind them, and they're actually going into zone to try to finish that off.
I'll be honest, if it's my ranked game, I'm letting the reset happen because this next zone is
KP,
closing. Yeah, it just seems like it'd benefit them. This is for the second time this game. I'm going to point it out. The Ring actually took out Disguised, unable to manage their meds in exactly the same way. First, it was a knock on one member, and then two quickly followed. They're not the only ones, as E8 moved into the zone and took out Dark Zero, but that makes two teams that have completely expired outside of the Ring without ever touching Echo HQ.
You know, and this is a team that you highlighted. What makes Elevate so interesting in your eyes, and kind of what they've done here? Obviously, they could fight, but they're making good decisions, Dia.
They really are, and a lot of this comes down to, in my opinion, Zach, I think that they've got three great working parts, and I'm a fan of all of the individual players, but we're seeing this happen with great IGLs across Apex Legends history. Of course, there's Hal, and that's a bit of an exception, but then we look at teams like Dark Zero, and even with Zero, who's been sticking with Jen Burton for a while, you've basically got a format with older, experienced IGLs where they go, I know exactly what I'm doing, and I'm going to pick up two crazy, consistent controller players to help me do it. And Elevate follows that same philosophy, with Zach Mazer perhaps not having the same accolades as Dark Zero and TSM fans benefit from. This same format, and the fact that I've listened to a lot of Zach Mazer comms from his C9 days, I think is going to work out really well. It's a very smart IGL. He hasn't gotten here for no reason.
No, I mean, Zach's honestly had a great opportunity to be at lands. He unfortunately got sick in that first LAN, and Graceful with Cloud9 had to take his place. They ended up, I think, top 10ing, but getting into that final day, which was amazing. But you look at that ability to do it, certainly it's more just consistency. Maybe Elevate that squad to do it. Moist, can you believe it? We saw their first fight. It did not go well. They found a way with Conduit and MT to get the banners back and be alive as a 3. Let's listen in and see if they can keep this luck rolling.
You guys need to move, though. I'm just dead. I'm dying for you guys, okay?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll make it around though.
You just gotta try.
Yeah, I'm dead too. Wow. That might have killed me.
I would say at all. And in the Pro League, it's hard to kind of count on being lucky. People just don't miss shots as often as they did. Good job to get the 3 back, but as I like to say, it was a day late and a dollar short, dear.
And with Moist going down, we had to compare them to Legacy, who actually fell even before them. That's both teams that initially should have had an advantage in this ring that are now fallen with 0 points each. We haven't even cracked the top 15, but XSET, who fell in the first couple of squads last game, have made a miraculous recovery and are fighting out of the IMC Armory. And Nocturnal, even with the catwall in his face, almost takes down one, and Koifel finishes the job on Panders. FaZe are in trouble.
XSET Koi going for it. This man is supposed to be a prodigy. 17 and 18, just bursting onto the scene at such a young age, and now finding that moment with Fun FPS and Nocturnal. Gained some maturity in this Pro League. Certainly stepping up and serving what most would have expected. Just excellence when it comes to aiming and winning those fights. Another fight going the way of XSET. Furia has been doing some damage alongside their route as well towards a potential win. And his Watson back in the Pro League, back off of his retirement and his hiatus. Certainly come back with some vigor and some verve. Elevate Gaming, though, maybe the most important story so far. With Moist being gone, Elevate has really played spoiler to Dark Zero and has a chance here to be on the outskirts of a decent spot in zone with 13 squads still left.
It's the same rotation as they tried to make last game, just one ring earlier, and I love how it's worked out for them. With a little bit of posturing through the windows, this isn't going to hurt anybody. E8 don't even want to take out the squad inside of this building. As much as it would be nice to get the KP, it's completely irrelevant to E8's game plan. They want to play around the outside, moving into Echo HQ later, like Furia are, but as we said, E8 did it first. Now can they punish Furia?
They should. And if they know that Fury's going to sit there, they know they either have to move or they have to get engaged. But it's not actually going to be Elevate that starts this. It seems like 9 Lives has maybe gotten involved and trying to poke outside, and Elevate have lost Zach in the process. FaZe Zeratricky has gone down as well. The Koifel on the other side. And I'm Madness back with 2 full reds is going to play maybe the worst role for Elevate, which is the one to finish them off, as they cannot withstand much more than this. It's going to be 1, it's going to be 2, maybe a 3rd will survive, but it's Furia's zone now. 9 Lives still inside.
Hugely problematic. That is devastating for E8 as 9 Lives, again, 2 teams that should have been able to coexist, ended up clashing for an unforced reason. Neither one particularly benefiting, although in this case, I think 9 Lives will be pretty happy that they saw the team on the outside who was emoting on them taken down. Now Furia get to move in uncontested and take on 9 Lives themselves.
And Furia, the fact that they can just be inside is huge, but don't forget that Elevate Shubi is still alive. Though Zap and Zach cannot contribute, placement points are still around for the taking. And with 12 squads left and not a lot of space, you're going to start to see those squads shrink. Meat Lovers and Tech with the Prowler in hand. It's 58, and it's not enough to get a clean kill. They're going to back off there. And with the Horizon ult, just a second for our Wands to say, if we needed to. Looks like we don't. Let's hold. Rather be patient and alive than hasty and dead.
That's very true. Interestingly enough, Meat play out of a similar position. They have been hasty at times, but it's been fascinating to watch them in their second day of Pro League take a bit of a breather. They look especially practiced around these zones, even though it hasn't net them a top 5 finish yet. Furia play things slow, everybody preparing in almost a calm before the storm way for this next ring. The squads up on top of Echo HQ, squads like Complexity, really benefiting from it.
I think this is absolutely one of the better spots to have. The only issue is you have a lot of teams rotating past you, but you want to have this high ground if you can. PLP, the only team, center zone down at the bottom near this kind of tropical tree that you saw there on the south. Madness peeking over, he slides back, and Keon finishes the job. Nice tag team duo. And Furia with 10 points. 5th place over on the lobby. 9 Lives goes down. We have 10 squads left with round 5 closing in. Just 15 seconds, and they're going to have to make some type of play here. But Furia, they'd rather wait. They have angles. They have support. They're fully loaded. I'm Madness 25 away. Only a few damage away from that red shield as well. So Furia in a really good position here.
The Meat Lover is not in such a fantastic one. Ultimately trying to crest Echo HQ. shot out of the sky, and with just Luxford left, I don't believe they'll be able to survive. Maybe evading some attention for now. Can Luxford even get tech back into the game without prompting a push from the surrounding teams? Sentinels are looking down on it. And when Sentinels are looking to get aggressive, you know that you're really down bad.
That's one of those things that, you know, it's been a big story with RKN trying to find those right moments to really showcase just the intelligence that he's had. He joined us on the desk and clearly became friends with a lot of us here. But in terms of his pro plays, absolutely had something to prove. And he's been fine being willing to prove that and continuing to guide his teams to these final zones. This would be a major moment to be able to clean this one up, because so far Furia are looking pretty good in terms of holding their own space. Monsoon and Complexity, we know how powerful their spot has been. They had the high ground all along, and now we see XSET. We're gonna find out, can they somehow put it together? Fun FPS, Koiful, the Young Gunner, and Nocturnal, can they get the dub? Let's listen in and see how they play this end zone.
Yeah. I'm showing.
We're doing way too much.
I have 120 light.
We might get swung.
Okay.
Low ground might swing us, and then south might swing us.
Did you save one?
What gun? You're R9 and Hemi, right?
Yeah, Arnon
Okay,
enemy.
okay.
Just chill. Everybody's in a fight. Just chill.
Yeah. Watch your drops, boys. Watch your drops.
Yep.
Dead above me.
I'm not yet.
I have ult. 7%.
Okay.
This is like ultimate save from low ground. We need to be careful of that.
Yep.
Someone's ballooning.
Someone just healed right here above us.
Yeah. I see them.
Ooh.
No one ballooning.
Yep.
Wall went down.
Yep.
Look here. I'm looking here.
Yep.
Team close west.
Okay.
We might be able to peek him.
I'm gonna burn it. Stay healthy.
They might just send us. They might just send us. Blows. 120, 130 in them.
Kill 2. All dead.
I can ult above.
I'm ulting above also. We play Bengal. Play Bengal.
Okay.
We kill after Bengal, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. There's a team on low ground.
Yeah. We just commit and kill a high ground. Commit and kill high ground. I'm winning that Bengal.
Yeah.
Yeah, make a... There's a bomb. Where? What?
Yeah.
Oh, what is
Check
that?
the bomb.
Climb up. Go east. Go east. Play to me.
Yeah. I'm here. I'm all in this.
Last in the knockdown.
Drop. Wait, on me.
Where?
Other team balloon. Careful. Northeast balloon.
Yep.
Wait, climb up on me. Climb up.
In the wall.
He dropped.
XSET with playing the Bangalore. All they gotta do is play height here. They're gonna stay alive. The gravity lift brings a few in. Koiful trying to get one of his wins here. That would seal the deal for XSET. Claiming this game. Huge hip fire shots. No. 30-30. And Furia somehow upset XSET and rise from the bottom to claim the top spots in game number 2.
It was right there, and yet falling just out of XSET's grasp. Make no mistake, this is a great game for them, but Furia, what a way to play the end zone, and off of low ground, of all things, Rain Day. Very infrequently do we get to see an ending like that.
You have to say and give it up to Keon. I was not sure what they were playing because we had so many teams we were following at that moment. Did they have the horizon? I think they did. And then you see Keon with that gravity lift. It brings them all up. They play low ground. They stay out of everyone's vision. Complexity and XSET, the only two teams that really had, in my eyes, the shielding and the positioning and the track record in this game of winning their fights to take a chance. But Furia, we mentioned their shielding. We mentioned their the positioning from rotating late. They had just played an excellent game. And to come out with the win in that kind of a zone, man, I want to see Keon's perspective now.
Yeah. What I'm sure
I want to watch Furious. Yeah.
I'm sure that we'll get to take a look back at it because this is a team that we're going to see win again. Furia, as you said, we talked about them at the start of the day. This isn't for no reason. They clearly have a command of the game, especially in this season, and it was a pleasure to watch them win a repeat zone. But as we had alluded to at the end of last one, it plays out very differently, even from game to game. We've got a totally different last 3 teams that stay alive and almost a new winner in the ALGS. XSET survived for so incredibly long and approached this ring with a whole lot more caution than they had just last game.
One of the interesting things about Furia 2 is the squad and the connection that they have, specifically Keon and his Watson, to supporting each other. If you even paid attention on Twitter and some of their interactions, it's a brotherly type love, someone that you would do anything for, that those two share, and that translates to game. Adding I'm Madness here and him IGLing, you take the passion that he's got, whether you love what he says or you don't agree with what he says, you cannot deny that he's passionate, and he's been one of the most technically advanced pros in ALGS history. He has always been a threat when it comes to a 1v1 or raw skill, and now you put him with two other guys who are just as good, maybe even better in that category. This is a deadly lineup. This is Furia back in business, Dia.
And the other thing is that Madness has been playing for a long time with his own teams, constructing over the past couple of seasons a few rosters here and there with the players he could find that were interested. Now that he's got an Organist back, now that he's got these two superstars with him, Madness is still playing like he's got to, as you say, frag out in the IGL position, and while he can, he by no means has to. Take a look at the way this played out last game. Keon went insane with 10 kills.
I mean, I knew he got him up there, but I didn't know he put him down, if you know what I mean. Put the players he was fighting down. 10 kills, 1,600 damage. His Watson right behind him, only about a 50 damage difference there. And you see I'm Madness right behind them with only 200 to spare. Huge games. You talk about 17 overall kills. And the greatest part about it as well is you see over 20 assists between this squad. They're working together. They're playing together. Each one of them is involved in every single fight and every single down. And that is resulting in, well, a pretty dominant performance. This has shifted things because we saw Dark Zero and Moist leading as we headed out of game one. Well, now they're nowhere to be found in the top 10, and it's Furia and Xset with 29 and 19 points respectively. That should certainly put them in the mix for one of our top teams.
It's a refreshing performance from them and from PLP, who making top 3 have got to be breathing a sigh of relief. Sentinels double up on their last game, placing top 5 again, continuing the refresh from yesterday and very much changing in just a single day of play. But let's take a look at the bottom 10, because as you said, a lot of things changed in this singular game. And even while we've got teams like Elevate and Meat Lovers making top 10, Moist and Legacy notably absent, Dark Zero and Optic perhaps even more so. And for the second time in the same zone, DSG seem to be lost on how to play Echo HQ. This time, the Ring doing more damage to them than anyone else.
Now, the weird part is Dark Zero, obviously, and Moist had a great one. And they can look exactly at what went wrong in this second one. But for teams like the Skies, like Legacy, you look at all these bottom 10 teams who have just not figured out how to do that rotation from where they are to Echo. Dia, I'm a positive guy. Bright side thinking, this is great to show the weaknesses of what happens if you get this zone again. And now all right, we got to do this differently, because if we get a zone like that in a big moment, it's not going to be easy for us to navigate.
It very much is, and I am curious how teams will continue to adapt. It's clear from Sentinel's gameplay, at the very least, that teams can make big leaps in single days, and with the end of the first round robin coming up, that's what we've got to look forward to.
All right, well, let's take you to a quick break. We'll be right back, catch our breath after a great game 2. Furia, a furious match. We'll see what happens in game 3.
to the action here in the ALGS. NA is delivering, and Dia, you get to take us through the action. Furia with a 17 KP dub? Are you kidding me? What a way to conclude game number 2. Now, we still have one more game on Storm Point, but man, what a change off after what we had seen from Moist game number 1. Them falling right after Legacy in game number 2 pretty early on.
You mean we have another game at Echo HQ, right?
Oh.
We haven't seen the rest of Storm Point yet, so I don't know what this Storm Point is, but Echo HQ, that we're very familiar with at this point.
Honestly, I'm just thinking that it's like advantages Echo just having the biggest crib out here for everyone to have a party at. Everyone gets an invite to the Echo party, and we are moving on to Storm Point once again for our next game, our final game on Storm Point before we make the transition into World's Edge. Now, I wonder if teams are going to preemptively just start rotating to the south side of the map, or if we are going to be sticking to our ring consoles so that way we could see where it may be shifting in case it does change things up here for some of these teams. The fact, though, that it did pull towards Echo could have been the opportunity for both Legacy and Moist, and we highlight these teams so much at the start of these games. It's because the 50-50s have been going down over there, so that could have given them the advantage back-to-back, but it didn't fare any advantage for either teams actually going into that game, which makes it all the more interesting looking at the rotation patterns that we had even from the likes of Dark Zero, who also went out early, and Furia coming out on top.
I love that you point that out, Vicky, because it is, I think, necessitated at the highest level of Apex that when the ring pulls to you, that you're making top 3. And to have that not happen for either team that lands over at Echo HQ does further demonstrate a lot of the risk that comes with this POI, contesting for it early on, and perhaps not getting the loot that you want. This time, Echo HQ should have a crafter on it, giving both teams a fair shot at looting up after they land, but that depends entirely on who wins the fight. And right now, Legacy have got a purple and a PK.
All right, we absolutely take those. I know Moist had been able to acquire a blue Evo from what I was able to see, but Yanya, what can Yanya make with this? PKG7 in their hand here. He's still rocking the white Evo, trying to take a different angle, but I do like the fact that this wasn't a fight that was taken in close quarters like we had seen, especially in that first fight that we witnessed with Gil taking a nice little head glitch, but Nizul's literally won, so Moist already opening things up with the advantage.
About to get up close and personal, especially after the amount of damage that Waltzy was able to do, and once again making it happen once more. Now with the conduit transfer, Waltzy should be able to come in with the rest of the team and finish this off. Yes, MT is down, but if you're a Moist fan, I wouldn't be too concerned about it yet. The Beak is out. And in the early game especially, the Mozambique's long-range, high-damage profile can make it a fantastic weapon for taking the early 3v3 win.
I'm so glad you highlighted that. Don't sleep! Don't sleep! And with the way that Guild is holding this angle, even with both his teammates down, he's in a 2v1, waiting by the edge, pops in the smoke, trying to reposition himself. He can't let them fully reset here, or is he just going to call it move back instead? He didn't have a lot of meds to work with until he picked up those 2 shields off the floor, and he is just calling it. He's not even going to risk it. Yanya still has that purple Evo shield, full health, and instead of just sticking around, just waits for them to try to get their third back and then use that time to get away.
Super smooth swap from Yanya as well, just allowing this to happen. Echo HQ finally has Legacy not just able to win the contest, but then take full advantage of the POI and move out of it, as we will be going a bit further north this time, over towards Lagoon and Launchpad, where already we've got several teams set up. It should be no surprise to anyone that Sentinels are one of the first teams there. Will they be one of the first teams out as Ape Gang gravity cannon onto them?
Temper was shooting at Guild, and now Guild is running for his life. They're doing the Spider-Man meme while they fly over each other. The voice is looking back at Legacy. Legacy's doing the same thing, and they're taking the gravity cannon back. Love being able to see that action happen in real time, but I also love even more, Dia, seeing a different circle. We are moving a slightly bit north from Echo HQ, but more in that center to east side of Storm Point.
Furia should be pretty happy making their way out from Wall. They had a great game last time, and this time are rotating right into a care package next door to their POI, with Complexity moving in just behind them. Furia do have a limited amount of time to make their way into the next ring, and not a whole lot of ring consoles on their way. There's nothing at Command Center, nothing at Cascade, so this little bit of information that Furia got at Wall is the last bit they're going to get on where the ring is going.
To the catwalk coming up for Xset, who have taken the high ground over Dark Zero, who have the advantage in terms of Evo shields, but they're not looking to try to take this fight from this position. It looks like they want to try to prioritize getting right around that next choke, seeing where Dark Zero wants to go. They already know where that next circle is already pulling, so they want to hang out here. Sometimes with this circle, we could actually see it pool in exactly where Dark Zero is right now, by the rocks to their right, or it could continuously pull more closer to Launchpad. But Dark Zero finding that player right in front of them. It's going to be RKN going down by the 30-30 in Zero's hands. That's Sentinels that they already have the advantage for. Moving in, Dark Zero want to try to take this fight.
Reknock doesn't happen off of an Arc Star, but notice how Dark Zero move around the Dark Veil that was placed and use Sentinel's own Catalyst wall against them, making sure that it provides cover to Dark Zero from the squads in Lagoon. Sykes does overextend just a bit, not anchoring for his squad, and instead wanting to frag once more, and as PLP enter the fray, does look like Sentinels are getting the worst bit of this. Dark Zero also cannot be too happy.
Oh man, and that was them having to reset, with Zainu being right behind Sentinels too. Look at the Picasso painting that they've built up with the Watson fences, putting down the gen so that way nobody else can try to contest them here, with the Bang ult being unleashed. Zero is still taking some folks though, still trying to get a little aggressive, not letting Sentinels fully reset, but the rest of his team are behind him. He wanted to try to get that purple Evo if he could, at least take that one last shot as well, putting in some pressure, and it's PLP that have the high ground here.
And with the banner that Dark Zero were able to recover and the purple shield, they should be able to get Sykes back into the lobby with the purple themselves, given that the new respawn mechanics will let Dark Zero sort of double up in that way. It's a retreat for them, and for Disguised, a late rotate, but a much easier one through checkpoint. As playing through here, they do maintain high ground for now, but would sure like access to the crafter in front of them if Optic on the other side would just let him have it.
Oh, and it looks like they are actually. You could take all
nice
of that. We want nothing to do with it. I guess the holidays are coming even earlier than they were expecting after they just ended. And Disguise, this is a team that I believe very much relies on momentum. It's all about that mental state from each individual member of this team. They've started out a little rough for today, so hopefully this could be the start of that momentum. While Legacy are getting gate kept by the team right there by the bridge. I believe that may be Eternal exiting out of Devastated Coast, not letting Legacy really find their angle to try to go through that choke, and there's still a squad late rotating behind them, Dia. It's gonna be Ape Gang coming close to pinch Legacy.
An odd rotation from Ape Gang. We'll see if Legacy actually find out that this is happening before it bites them in the behind. Their retreat out of Eternal should let Eternal continue to play over by the southern end of Launchpad, hanging out with the buildings that they've got as cover, and finally into the actual ring itself. But Ape Gang and Legacy have encountered each other on the other side, so I'm sure we'll hear a few more shots from them, perhaps see one of them show up in the kill feed after a little while. Xset's late move in to where Moist ultimately retreated to try and grab their compatriot is going to be just fine for now, but what's not great is their shield situation. This is worrying me about Xset, mostly because they had such a good game just 20 minutes ago and need to put up similar numbers here.
Especially if they do an Evo shield check and they see that Nox still has that white Evo. Although I am seeing on the feed too, Furia in a fight, getting a trade going down, and we get to see the side-by-side. Shout out to the observers catching the action just as quickly here. His Watson low. This Evo shield isn't looking to reset just yet to give some help to Madness, who is one. He needs to chase him down on that lift. Try to reset from the inside. He gets that next knock onto Shubi. It's E8 taking this fight. Not too sure if they were able to get the original res, but if so, that gives Furia some extra time to reset too.
Love the way that Watson stabilizes for the team. It's a lot of practice, a lot of hours going into the way that he covered the singular res on Keon, takes out Elevate as almost an afterthought, and again reinforces for the rest of the team Furia's reset perfection in these these moments, and it couldn't have happened any sooner, as Dark Zero, with Sykes back into the game, are just now passing by. A little too late to third party, but it's just by a hair.
At least you get to prioritize that northern choke point rotation that overlooks the launch pad site. You could try to approach from at least that high ground area right through that choke, and they will be above Furia while the rat is. So that is going to be that next plan by the Spider Den that they're going to be able to rotate on. They will be coming right behind Exit, though, and Complexity and Meat Lovers are on the north side of Stormcatcher, so they're right above